2019.
Interview part. Take one. Man, 2019 was one hell of a ride.
Banner year, as they say.
It's had its ups and downs.
As you may or may not have heard, Defy Media, which is our parent company, is going out of business. And as of last week, they laid off everybody, including us. We won't have any new videos for a while. We're not sure when we will be able to pick production back up, but we are planning on doing it, and hopefully it will be sooner rather than later.
See you later.
Now it sounds sad. That's like, no, you're gonna make it, buddy.
We're gonna patch you right up. We're gonna patch you right up.
We started off the year having no job, and we weren't even confident that there was really an avenue to get the Warp Zone back.
After having a job for 5 years and then all of a sudden not having a job, it frees you up in ways you don't expect, and you spend a lot of time staring at the floor and going, I should do something.
Everything was in limbo, really didn't know what to do. Tried to be productive, wrote some scripts and stuff.
I think we all found different ways to be creative. I started playing more music during that time, and Odom and I were meeting up every week or every other week to jam and, I don't know, maybe get some frustration out.
I found a couple opportunities that I didn't know existed, so got the opportunity to record Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum, the podcast. I get to sit on the couch next to some fun people you may have seen on the TV box.
I am so jealous. I'd rather no one I know Michael Rosenbaum that intimately than have a very close friend of mine be very close to him, because it's just not fair.
Of course, in March, everything changed pretty dramatically when we found out we got the YouTube channel back.
If you want to see the full story, you can just click over there. It's a good one. People cry, so. It was really great at the beginning to have everything back, but at the same time, so daunting to start a business. We had never been fully on our own. We've always been a part of a bigger company, whether that was first Maker or then Defy. We had to learn how to be functional while we were building it.
It was difficult to get things off the ground because we didn't have the financial backing of a bigger company.
We had no income yet because, YouTube takes a while to pay you. So even though we had the channel back, we still weren't getting money for a good while. So we had to hire people on IOUs.
Thankfully, friends and collaborators of ours were very generous with their time and were willing to do some work up front. We would, pay them back when the checks started coming in, which we've done. We've kept our word.
Starting your own company, it's the dream. But in reality, it's a little more difficult than you might think.
Well, I'll tell you, it sounds real fun to say I'm a small business owner, and I've been saying it a lot this year. But boy, there are so many tedious things about running a business that are not as exciting as simply making videos for YouTube. Your bank account, and insurance, and payroll, and taxes.
I mean, being independent, you pretty much just only have to answer to yourself, and it's all on you to sort of figure out when things get done. It's freeing, but it's also goddamn terrifying.
If you're not going into an office from, 10 in the morning to 6 at night, and it's up to you to sort of set your own pace and your own work schedule, then you really got to make sure you're doing it. There's all the stuff that you like to do in your house, like TV and video games. You gotta stay strong.
My dress code has gotten significantly more comfortable. I think athleisure wear is the term that people use to make it seem like sweatpants are acceptable.
Obviously, we now are in total control of our destiny, both creatively and monetarily, but we also get to do the exciting part of businessing, I guess that's gonna be a word now, but the networking and meeting new people and figuring out a way to work together, whether that be meeting a company at E3 for a potential brand deal, or meeting with a studio to try to get something bigger made.
those were meetings that we had been excluded from in the past, and actually getting to be able to sit down with people who make those types of decisions and to form a direct relationship with them is incredibly exciting. We could represent ourselves while not also representing a bigger company that had very different interests than we have.
I think that being on our own has like given ourselves a bit of a creative renaissance. I really like the things that we're making now, and I've liked the stuff in the past, but I think now, because we are the final say, we are able to really make just what we feel is right.
It sounds cheesy, but we believe in speaking our truth. We speak what we think is true about big companies, and if we had a corporate overlord, they might be worried about not being able to do business with those companies. And sure, it would be great to do business with Marvel and Disney and everybody else, which is the same company, I guess. But being honest about that is more important than trying to tiptoe around brands so that they might throw us some scraps.
One of our biggest like creative drawbacks when we were at Defy was that we did have to, keep a schedule, keep views up, because there's the threat of being fired. So we would have to make creative sacrifices.
The If Pop Culture had, If Marvel had Facebook, and all those that we did for a long time, those did really well. And, the company got excited about it because it was like an easy thing to kind of like sell to people. But it was not creatively fulfilling.
It was really great that it did so well, but I do think it cost us our identity a bit, because we had an audience that was there for our live action videos, and then kind of a separate audience that was there just for those videos. And those videos, it was a lot of just celebrity impressions and character impressions, so it had its like own identity. It wasn't really a Warp Zone identity. It wasn't us like putting ourselves out there.
We were sort of intentionally just doing the same thing over and over again because it was successful. And when you start to just repeat things because they're successful, then it feels like it stops being art and starts being industry.
So that's why we've shelved that. If it comes back, it's gonna be on our terms.
The constraints of being totally independent are budget.
We're incredibly constrained by cash flow and have to be concerned month to month at the moment about how finances are looking. So we have to be incredibly intentional and careful about the content that we're producing, how much it costs. There are no extra people on set right now. Schroeder, Odom, Davis, Ryan, and I are on set today, and that is it.
You're always balancing like, okay, what is literally the coolest way we could make that, with like, what can we do that still is really cool, but we still have a company after because we didn't spend $100,000 on this dumb sketch so we could get fully functioning Iron Man armor. Those are the kind of decisions we have to make every day.
So yeah, music's been a big casualty because music's f***ing expensive. Startup cost on a sketch is pretty low. We just have to write the script. But even before we shoot a shot in a music video, we have to have the song done.
It costs money to pay somebody to make a track, to pay somebody to like to fix your vocals. As angelic as we sound, we got to pay someone to do a little bit of just a little bit of tweaking. Some things we did a lot of, like acapellas and parodies. Those are a risk of getting demonetized, and when you have to make money off of the videos that are getting uploaded, it limits the amount of those you can actually do, because if those do get flagged, then you don't make any money, and then you can't produce any more content, and then you're boned. But we have still been able to make a few fun videos this year.
Favorite videos? Oh boy.
I love basically every video that we've done since we've been back.
This might be my favorite year worth of videos that we've made.
We have the gaming in the 90s videos, which are just like literally what we did in our childhoods. We got to like share the fun trials and tribulations of the N64, SNES, Game Boy era of stuff. So those are really fun.
Still did a recap rap of Stranger Things, and that one was fun because, I like to have fun with my choruses, and I made a little parody of Africa. That's just fun for anyone.
The comeback video is one of my favorite moments. Talking about getting the band back together, we literally did a Backstreet Boys parody and made it about us coming back. I love the Backstreet Boys, and I thought that was super fun.
We also came out with the Rise of Kingdoms rap this year, and that one was particularly monumental because that was literally the thing we were recording when Defy shut down. And the It sketch parody. Our makeup artist Ashley did an incredible job in making me look like a terrifying clown, and I could not look myself in the mirror. I had to put in contacts for the first time in my life. Brian was there on set, forcing a contact into my eye. My eye did not want to accept it. It was painful for everybody involved, and I'm sorry, Brian. It looked cool. Don't want to do it again, but it looked cool.
I think that our big breakout star of the year is Dick Richards, and I'm really liking where we're taking him this year.
Dick Richards is, my boy. We had used him in the past, but I think he really found his voice with being the head at Disney, because they're always winning and they just make money. So he got to go from being like the disheveled, trying to make it work guy to the like just smarmy a-hole that is just, laying it out to everybody. So the cynical sides of us got to flourish in those ones.
I'm gonna go ahead and say my favorite though was Batman Goes Indie. There's just something really special about that video that I think set the tone for the rest of the year.
Batman was a reflection of where we were at the time. Batman was broke, but he still wanted to do what he loves, and what he loves is fighting crime. So that one I feel was pretty special.
And like, I love playing Batman. He's my favorite character that I play. Just like, I don't consider myself to be a great actor, but I nail Batman every time.
My favorite moment of the year was when I got married, so that was cool.
Shorter got married, you guys. We were all there. It was a great wedding on a boat in Long Beach.
It was a wonderful moment, wonderful day. Everything about it was great.
Like, it was just like we had these like 2 weeks in the middle of the craziness of starting a company and stuff where we just had fun. It was really special, also kind of crazy.
Man, I think getting our first brand deal, that was a pretty big highlight. Before getting that first brand deal, we hadn't brought in a lot of money. I don't think we had even like paid ourselves yet. We were all probably running on empty. Yeah, it was a cool experience getting to do something of that size for the first time on our own without, a parent company.
I think one of my favorite moments was when we finally had a video go big and go really well. It was the snap video. When you have a video like hit and do really well and go above and beyond, it feels like a moment of relief and catharsis, where it's like, okay, we can still do this, because so much changes with YouTube. It's a miracle that we've like survived this long. I think we still got it. Whew, who knew?
Yeah, something like new and kind of cool that we've been doing is the Patreon benefits. I guess specifically the lewds have been a new interesting aspect to. When we talked about doing lewds as a Patreon tier, I was not entirely sure what to expect. And then we did that first shoot in the backyard. Me just in a cowl and Batman boxers, and I felt a little exposed. I hadn't really done lewds before, and it was a new experience. And then I saw some of the photos that you had taken, and I was like, oh, these are really good. If I, say so myself.
Our biggest misstep this year is that we've spent so much time building the Warp Zone as a business that we haven't had the bandwidth to interact with our audience and with our fans, and that's a big regret.
It's really hard to continue producing the content that like basically puts food on the table and make sure that it's good, and then also to have to worry about promoting it or just like taking photos of ourselves and stuff is just, I don't know, it's always something that we've struggled with.
I also think that to sort of survive in 2020, we do have to be a multi-platform brand. That seems to be sort of a thing. So, we gotta make sure that we continually update TikTok and update Instagram and Facebook, and just make sure that everybody can see Warp Zone all the time.
One of the big things that we have been working on has been enjoying the moment more, especially while shooting. Towards the end, I was always getting frustrated with all of the stuff going on, and so I would bring that with me into the shoots. But this time I've tried to really enjoy everything, and it's made the whole experience just like shooting with the buds again, which has been really fun. When you're like playing a character and doing accents and fun stuff, it just like livens up the whole mood, and it just makes for fun times.
For 2020, I'm really excited about really trying to expand our scope and try to finally get to longer form content. You know, obviously we don't want to stop what we're doing on the channel, and who knows, maybe even the longer form content can live on the Warp Zone, but I think it's where I want to go creatively.
It's kind of always been a goal of ours to make a show or a movie. Would be dope, be really cool.
And we have several that we have already written pilots for, series Bibles for, and we have been trying to pitch and sell for years. And we had always sort of been stifled by being at a bigger company, and that was definitely not a priority for them, but we have really made it a priority for us personally and as a business this year.
So 2019, that happened.
That was like one of the wildest years of my life.
That was a crazy year. That was a crazy way to end a decade. The lowest of lows and highest of highs. We went from having no prospects to all the prospects. I'm excited for the next decade. Excited for 2020.
Thank you guys for sticking along, and hopefully you continue to. And
On to a new year. On to the new frontier of total independence. Let's not f*** it up.